Fonda Speedway, new era, same result. Holy bouncing boilerplate, Batman's in victory lane at Malta. We catch up with two drivers back from health issues in the off-season. Hey, there's race cars on the track. That means we have a show this week. Let's go! Race Pro Weekly. Hello and welcome to Race Pro Weekly. I'm your host, Mike Warren. We start off this week by heading to the Fonda Speedway, where a new era was ushered in as promoter Pete Demetrazic took on night number one of his maiden voyage along the Mohawk. Pete Demetrazic addressing the crowd during the intermission of his program as he got ready to watch his first modified feature as the promoter of the Fonda Speedway, as it would be Alton Palmer and Stuart Friesen leading the field to the green as they go up into turn number 1 and 2 for the first time, and well, I think you know how this one turned out. Stuart Friesen to the early race lead, Ronnie Johnson looking for the number 2 spot. Johnson would then backslide. Here comes Larry White putting the electric slide job on him through turn number 3 and 4, and White would be your new third place man. Johnson right there. Here's Bobby Varon and Corey Wilder side by side down the back straightaway as those cars would battle for position. Meanwhile, Craig Hansen going to dive underneath the 1RJ of Ronnie Johnson as he would go side by side with Varon down the back straightaway and into turn number 3 and 4. Varon now riding in fourth as he would look to stay ahead of Hansen as the Dr. Danny Johnson on the move as well, as now Varon going to make a move for the number 2 spot on the outside lane. He'd get by Alton Palmer and look to chase down the 44 of Stuart Friesen. Caution will come out for the 19 of Jesse Mueller, spun in between turn number 3 and 4 and off the restart. Here's Larry White and Danny Johnson looking to go side by side as Johnson looking to take control of that spot, as these two have battled numerous times on the series, and now they're doing it this past Saturday night at the Fonda Speedway, with White having a great run so far, looking to stay in that number 3 spot, but you know the Doctor is not going away. Mark Keselowski looking to make his way up through the field as he tries to catch up to the 816 of Jeff Rockefeller as they head down the back straightaway. Keselowski in the Morris Auto Group car trying to make his move up the field, but Stuart Friesen way out in front of this one as he would catch slower traffic here with just a few to go. Ronnie Johnson and Darwin Green side by side as Johnson would take control of that battle, but it's all behind Mr. Freeze as Stuart Friesen grabs the opening night win at Fonda. Varon would finish in second, Larry White third, Danny Johnson coming home fourth in his first run as a regular at Fonda, and Alton Palmer would round out your top 5. Last season at Albany Saratoga, it was the Hearn and Tremont show all the way, with only 3 other drivers able to reach victory lane. With a stout field and the return of Stuart Friesen as a regular, would history repeat itself? A great field of modifieds at the Great Race Place set to do battle for 35 laps here in this one, as it would be Stuart Friesen and Don Rocca to head the field down for the first feature of the season at Albany Saratoga, as it would be the 7 of Don Rocca assuming command of the event early in the action. Meanwhile, Keith Flack, Brett Hearn, and Kenny Tremont looking to do battle as Tremont and Hearn will be side by side for the beginning part of this event. Tremont, of course, the defending champion at the Speedway, looking to take control early. Meanwhile, Peter Britton gets in front of Matt DiLorenzo. He'll take the number 3 spot away off at turn number 2 as Stuart Friesen sets his sights on race leader Don Rocca. The 44 going to turn the wick up. He'd be your new race leader off at turn number 2. And the 44 looking to get it done in his return to regular racing here at the Speedway. Meanwhile, the 18 of Peter Britton going to go to the inside of Don Rocca, looking for the number 2 spot. He grabbed that away. Mark Johnson in small block power looking to fight his way up through the field as the track continued to slicken up, as the 115 and 20 continued to do battle. Brett Hearn would backslide a little bit, though, when he went to the outside, as the 43 of Keith Flack and the 3J of Mark Johnson going to try to get by him. They both would eventually do so, as Friesen would start to see trouble as he would scrub off some speed on the top side. That allows Britton to take the lead. Friesen would get it back going, but he would see some more trouble later in the event as you see Kenny Tremont going by him on the outside with ease, along with Matty D sliding right underneath him as well, and Mark Johnson looking to follow. Johnson would eventually get by him, however, as Friesen would have more trouble up on the top side. A broken brake caliper would be the reason for his demise in this event, and a tough break for your early race leader. Off of the restart, three-wide battle with a little bit of contact between Elmo Reckner and Don Ronca midway through the pack, as Hearn looking to take advantage as he would continue to slide a little bit in this one. But now Matty D in the closing stage is going to turn up the wick to the top side. He'd get by Mark Johnson off of turn number 2 and grab the number 3 spot and set his sights on Tremont, where he'd get him as well off of the corner. What a move by Matt DiLorenzo as he would get up to second, but that's as far as he get as Batman scores the opening night win at the Great Race Place. So Britain picking up the win with the Invader tag. Matty D would have to settle for second, Kenny Tremont third, Mark Johnson coming home in fourth, and Keith Flack would round out the top 5. Much like at Albany Saratoga, the top 2 drivers at Lebanon Valley were Brett Hearn and Kenny Tremont last year. With the regulars chomping at the bit to get into action, could they stop the reign of the 2 veterans? Fans getting excited as we get to start the 30-lap modifying feature event on opening night. Mark Keefe excited as well down there in front, as Kyle Sheldon and Keith Flack would lead the field to the green for the first time on the high banks of the Valley of Speed. Sheldon would get a little out of shape up in between turn number 1 and 2. That allows Keith Flack to dive underneath him as he would take the early race lead in the Flack Company's car number 43. Cars on the move early in the event. Brett Hearn going to take it 3 wide down the front stretch with Sheldon and the 34 of Steve Huff. He grabbed those positions away as the caution would come out for Kyle Armstrong on the backstretch. Off the restart, Colby Schroeder gets out of shape and goes into the wall as Dipple and Tremont run side by side for position. Paul Gilardi and Stan Frankenfield also involved. Off of the next restart, Tremont trying to work his way up to get into the number 3 spot as he would get by Matt Papello for the position and now set his sights on the Jersey Jet Brett Hearn. Hearn, meanwhile, reeled in your race leader, the 43 of Keith Flack, looking for a way around him. Looking at the inside this time through turn number 3 and 4, but the caution will come out after a hard crash between Denny Soltis and the 55 of Mike King. Soltis with a lot of damage on that number 1 machine. Off of the restart, the slingshot was engaged, and he would take it up top shelf where Tracy hides the Thin Mints as he'd ride to the inside, then slingshot underneath looking for the race lead to get by Keith Flack as he'd take it 3 wide. Tremont trying to find a line up high, gets into the back bumper of Keith Flack, but then he'd find something on the outside heading into turn number 3 and 4, and the SNS Asphalt Paving number 115 would barrel it down off the corner. He'd be your new race leader. Tyler Dipple looking to try to get by Hearn down the back straightaway, but Hearn slides up in front and takes the line away. And meanwhile, Hearn would run down the 43 of Keith Flack and look to get him on the outside. It wouldn't take too long for Hearn got into the number 2 position. Tyler Dipple now looking to try to run down the 43 of Keith Flack as they go to work on slower traffic as Mike Keeler up on the top side. Dipple would not be able to get by Flack in this one as Kenny Tremont goes on to take home the opening night victory at the Valley. Brett Hearn would have to settle for second in this one. Keith Flack would finish in third, Tyler Dipple fourth, and Eddie Marshall with a strong top 5 run to start the season. It's now time for this week's Kaiser Aluminum Wheels fan poll question. What is your favorite day of the week to go racing? Cast your answers on our Facebook page and we will read some of your answers on next week's show. Last week's question was, what is your opinion about the World of Outlaw Sprint Car Series not coming to Lebanon Valley in 2016? Mark Labram says, I'm okay with it. I hope the All-Star brings some of the PA guys with him. Jeff David says, the speed and cornering ability is fun to watch for a few minutes, but there is no passing. Not nearly as exciting as watching Andy Bacchetti slice and dice to the front from his mid to rear starting position. And John Flaris says, the only reason to go to the Valley is to watch the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars. Awesome speed, and yes, there is good racing, and there are more than 6 traveling World of Outlaw cars. Calling all golfers. Have you ever wanted the chance to play 18 holes with a living legend? Well, you have your chance to play with me at NISCA's 14th annual golf outing coming up on Thursday, May 12th at the Mohawk River Country Club. You and a friend could join me and a race car driver friend of my own to play 18 great holes along the Mohawk River in what will be a great day, I can assure you of that. Just comment on our Facebook page and we'll see if you have the chance to outputt the amazing host of Race Pro Weekly. Coming up, we head north of the border to make our first trip to Merrittville for 2016. And after that, we'll go bull ring racing in Ulster County when we come back on RPW. Reputable, reliable, results. That's what you get when you call Rick and the professionals at RCT Roofing. Quality service at fair prices. RCT gets the job done. Just like Nick Stone and the RCT Pro Stock. RCT Roofing, we've got you covered.
If you're like me, your to-do list never ends. But with just one phone call, I protect my home, family, pets, and yard all year round. With Northeast Pest Control's Premier Home Protection Program, I don't have to worry about bugs and pests, and I don't have to worry about harsh chemicals either. Now how about that want to-do list? Thanks, Northeast Pest Control.
Ants, termites, mice, or bees. Call today for your free estimate.
With Northeast Pest Control,
We guarantee you'll live pest-free.
There's only one place in the capital region for you to get the full racing action. Stop down at the Bobco video booth at the track or call 518-399-0937. Bobco Racing Video, the next best thing to being there. Welcome back to Race Pro Weekly as we go north of the border to Merrittville as Chad Brockman looking to defend his title from last year, and he's got a pole sitting position as he would lead the field up into turn number 1 and 2 with Wayne Kahn right beside him. And hi-ho, here comes Delario up on the top side as Mark Delario going to make a move trying to get by Brockman for the race lead. He would take it away for a short time as they headed up into turn number 1 and 2. As I mentioned before, the three of Brockman looking to battle back with the 08 on the inside as they're side by side as this track looks to slicken up a lot more as Pete Bicknell sitting right there behind him, but Brockman, it wouldn't take long. He'd be back to your race lead by about a 4-car length advantage down the back straightaway. Delario looking to hold off challengers, trying to stay in that number 2 spot as the 42 of Bicknell works to the inside. Ryan Susi and Mike Bowman side by side for position as Bowman looking to work his way up through the field. As Bicknell continues to ride there looking for third, Bowman would move to the inside as Susi would lose a little bit of momentum, but Bowman, the car on the move in this one, as the caution will come out for David Flanagan Jr. up off of turn number 3 and 4. Off of the restart, Brockman would reassume control of this one, but the 71 of Bowman with a great move on the top side, and he loves running the top here at Merrittville as he would go side by side with Chad Brockman looking for the race lead. As a whale of a battle going on as the number 71 machine trying to use his momentum to get by him. He'd have the lead at the line right there, and what was called a power move would bring him to the race lead off the back straightaway as Mike Bowman had now gone to the front. Brockman still sitting in the number 2 spot. Delario holding on strong for the number 3 position as well. Gary Lindbergh making his first start in the modifieds as he moved up from Sportsman last season, but it was Mike Bowman taking home the honors as he picks up the win on opening night at Merrittville. Bowman grabs the victory. Brockman would finish in second, Pete Bicknell third, Mark Delario fourth, and Ryan Susi would round out the top 5. Other winners on the night, it would be racing Jason Barney grabbing the win in the Patriot Sprint Tour, Brad Rouse in the Sportsman, and Paul Klager grabbing the win in the Mod Lights. Opening night down at the Ulster County Bull Ring in Accord as it would be Scott Ferrier and Dom Roselli on the front row of this one, and what a great race this would be as Ferrier would lead him down into turn number 1 and 2, but Roselli would take the advantage on the outside lane in the early going, so he would grab the early race lead. Robbie Green and Billy Van Imwegen going to go side by side up into turn number 1 and 2. Meanwhile, a battle of the Rickies, Mike Ricky and Allison Ricky going side by side in the early going of this one as they would fight for position with Mike Ricky taking the early advantage with Anthony Perego right on their back bumper. Robbie Green and Danny Creedon going to make contact coming down the front straightaway as Creedon gets that battle away with Van Imwegen looking to push up through the field, and then Allison Ricky gets into the back bumper of Creedon as they continue to run for position up in the corner. Caution will come out for the 5L of Chad Lodice, and that would re-rack the field. And coming off of the corner, Creedon was continuing to push his way up as Perego now gets into it a little bit with Chad Lowett in the 716. As they move up through the corner, it would be Perego moving into the number 3 spot, and he would put on a heated battle with the 20 of Ferrier for the runner-up position, and we're not even halfway through this one yet, folks. Robbie Green right there along with Rich Ricky Jr., Billy Van Imwegen, and Richie Urich looking for position as they would fight in the back end of the top 10 as this battle for the number 2 spot would continue, and then behind them, Mike Ricky making a great move as he would continue to push his way up. Borrego and Ferrier side by side, but it's all behind Dom Roselli as he grabs the win at Accord on opening night. Scott Ferrier would win the battle between him and Borrego for second. Danny Creedon would come home in fourth, and rounding out your top five would be Corey Lowett. Other winners on the night down at the Ulster County Bull Ring. In the Sportsman, it would be Rich Rickey Jr., Brody Adamski in the wingless sprints, Pure Stocks going to Gary Rock, Slingshots to Samantha Muller, Junior Slingshots to Hunter Lapp, and your four-cylinder Enduro going to go to George Zeninger. Orange County Fair Speedway in the small block division. On hand for this one as it would be Tim Heinley and Tom Heinley, both leading the field to the green. Tom Heinley going to take the early lead in the event as Bob McGannon would race to the inside lane trying to take the spot away. McGannon would come on the inside, then here's Tim Heinley on the outside looking to make something happen. He would split them both going down into turn number 1 and 2, and after a bobble by Tom, Tim's going to take the race lead on the top side, and he would be followed by Bob McGannon as they would put on a battle down the front straightaway the next time by. Heinley would hold on to the race lead with McGannon working to the inside as the cars will continue to push their way up through the field, including the 17 of Brian Crummell and the 44 of Stan Jablonka, as the caution will come out for the 21 of Gary Edwards Jr. behind them. Off the restart, it would be Heinley taking control again as Matt Janiak now would join the fray as he goes side by side with Tom Heinley for position up into turn number 1 and 2. As now Bobby Henschel in the 4SL, the 456 of Jesse Leiby up there as well, as they try to fight their way up as to get into the top 5 as time would start to run out in this feature event, with Jablonka now side by side with Crummell down the back straightaway as they chase down Jimmy Spellman. Spellman would lead that pack and continue to lead it as Tyler McKee would work to the outside of Jablonka now for position as they chase down John Ferrier. However, this is all behind Tim Heinley as he would pick up and cruise to a victory in this one at the hard clay for the small blocks. Bob McGannon would finish in the number 2 spot. Tommy Meyer would finish in 3rd. Matt Janiak 4th, and Jesse Leiby would round out the top 5. The CRSA Sprint Cars making their way into their Fonda Speedway for the first time in the 2016 season as part of the opening night festivities. And in this one, it would be Mike Kaiser going to take the early race lead as he would sprint away from the 69K of Corey Gurney going down the front straightaway and up into turn number 1 and 2 for the first time. Cars on the move, 41J of Josh Flint, the 07 of Brett Jaycox going to run side by side as they bring it down the front straightaway once again, with Jaycox getting the battle as they go up into 1 and 2. Meanwhile, battle for the number 2 spot about to ensue as Kyle Smith on the outside, the driver of the South Egremont, Massachusetts, makes a bid for position. He grabbed that spot away and now set his sights on race leader Mike Kaiser as they go down the back straightaway. They come through turn number 3 and 4, and down the front straightaway they go as they'd have to evade lap traffic, and that would allow the 17 of Smith to move up in front of the 99 of Kaiser and take the race lead away down the back straightaway. Meanwhile, Corey Sparks now would go up on the inside of the 99 of Kaiser, grab the number 2 spot away from him as well, as Sparks tried to run down your leader here towards the midway point as they race past the Cow Palace off of turn number 4. It would be the 3 of Josh Panizik taking the number 2 spot away as he would set his sights on race leader Kyle Smith. He'd get right up on the back bumper of him. However, he'd get a little out of shape as that would allow Smith to pull away, and Sparks comes out of nowhere down the front straightaway and takes the number 2 spot right back. Smith now getting a little bit of a cushion through lap traffic as he would have a little trouble, though, going up into turn number 1 and 2 as his right rear touches the outside retaining wall. He'd hold on no problem. Meanwhile, Panizik gets caught into the 83 of Dustin Purdy, and he goes up and over as that would end Panizik's night with a lot of damage. Josh Flint involved as well, as you see a lot of left front damage on that 41J machine. A tough break for Flint and Panizik as you see his car get towed off. Meanwhile, off of the restart as they bring him back down the front straightaway, the 99 of Kaiser looking to take control, but the 30 of Scott Goodrich now going to go to the inside lane. He would get by Corey Gurney for position off of turn number 2, but it's going to be behind Kyle Smith as he grabs the CRSA feature at Fonda. Coming home in second is Corey Sparks. Scott Goodrich would finish in 3rd, Corey Gurney 4th, and Mike Kaiser would round out the top 5. Other winners on the night, Rocky Warner grabs the win in the Sportsman, Cousin Luke Horning in the Pro Stocks, Josh Coonrad in the Street Stocks, and Mike Peak in the Rookie Sportsman. All of us here at Race Pro Weekly would like to send thoughts and prayers and condolences to the family of Bill Wimble, the racing legend who just passed away this week.
I'm Brian from 1-800-GOT-JUNK. This is my main man, Tom, and my other main man, Tom.
You never know how much junk you've got until you move.
Point to something you wish would disappear.
Would it be possible to... It's gone!
All you have to do is point.
Where have you been all my life?
We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
Performance, quality, service. That's DMC Racing Products. Hundreds of name brand parts, competitive prices. That's DMC. DMC Racing Products. Race to win.
Looking for outstanding service for your car, truck, or SUV? Speed's Garage is a family-run business providing the highest quality of auto care. From routine maintenance, brakes, engine, body, or paint work, you can trust the professionals at Speed's Garage. Speed's Garage has all the auto service you need, plus full towing for any vehicle. For championship service, go to Speed's Garage in Mellonville.
Non-stop action, fierce battles, out-of-your-seat excitement. It's 800 horsepower of ground-shaking racing. The Super Dirt Car Series Big Block Modifieds are coming. Be there to witness all the mighty big blocks. Get ready for 2 huge days of racing at the High Banks Hold-Up at Fonda Speedway. Friday and Saturday, April 29th and 30th. Watch the 2016 openers for the Super Dirt Car Series Big Block Modifieds and Dirt Car Sportsmans, plus the ESS Sprint Cars and late models. Fulton Speedway, County Route 57, Fulton.
Welcome back to Race Pro Weekly. Here is the Pro Stocks. Get started at Albany Saratoga Speedway, as we're going to see the 4 of Dean Charbonneau look to take the early race lead as Dan Madigan slips off the banking. That allows Jeff Washburn to move up into spot number 2 as they barrel off at turn number 4 for the first time. Cars on their way up through the field. Fast Eddie Thompson sees a lane and takes it away. As cars jumble up, Dan Older and Kim Dool involved in that as well. As Charbonneau still holding on to the race lead, Washburn a close second is now Walt Brownell going to come into the picture, a close third right behind them. Robbie Speed, step by step, looking to make his way up through the field as he would go to the inside of Jeff Washburn, trying to take the number 3 spot away. As Speed Racer looking to be on the move. Cars behind him looking to find their way up as well, as here's to 24, Robbie Speed moving past Washburn. He'll take spot number 3 away and go to work on Walt Brownell for the number 2 spot. That time, however, the 4 of Charbonneau slipped up the banking just enough. Speed with a chance at the race lead as they come down the front stretch. And up into turn number 1 and 2 they go. Robbie Speed going to the front in this one as the Mellonville Missile now out in front of everybody. The 4 of Charbonneau still trying to hold on to second. Brownell would get back on a restart. And now we're going to have a caution up in between turn number 1 and 2. Jason Brownell, Danny Wood, Dan Older, and Fast Eddie Thompson involved. Off of that restart, that allows Nick Stone to crack the top 5 for the first time, as he would duck under the 25J of Washburn for spot number 4 down the back straightaway. Brandon Amy working his way up through the field as well, as he would go to the inside and try to find a position. Purple Thunder, Kim Dool on the outside, as well as Robbie Speed continues to lead this one, but Brandon Amy making his presence known on the back bumper of the 4 of Charbonneau, as now Stone and Brownell going to go side by side once again, almost wheel to wheel, and boy, do I love that Camaro body on the 27. Meanwhile, synchronized spinning motion between Dean Charbonneau and the 2 of Brandon Amy. They would lose a number of positions as Robbie Speed continued to lead this one, and he'd bring home the opening night feature at the Great Race Place. So the Mellonville Missile picks up his first win of 2016. Nick Stone would finish in second, Walt Brownell third, Dean Charbonneau fourth, and Dan Madigan would round out the top 5. Other winners on the night, Jeremy Pitts picked up the win in the Sportsman, Jack Lehner in the Limited Sportsman, Hunter Sanchez in the Street Stocks, Mike Perotti in the 4-cylinder single cam, and Steve Ryan grabbing the win in the 4-cylinder dual cam. The URC Sprints on the card down on the hard clay, as well as they give the 4 wide salute to the fans down the front straightaway. and it would be Eddie Aiken looking to take the early race lead in the number 21 machine as he would win the drag race down to turn number 1 and 2 and be your early race leader. As the field makes their way down the back straightaway, it would be Aiken coming around the lead lap number 1 with Davey Franek right behind him in the 28 machine. Cars would fight as Justin Barger would go to the inside of the 56 of Randy West down the back straightaway as Franek started to reel in Aiken just a little bit more as we continue to click laps off in this feature event. Now Barger going to duck to the inside of Scott Flammer for position as he continued to work his way up through the field. Barger will continue to work his way up through the field, trying to make a move on the inside off at turn number 4, but that time couldn't do it, as Barger, of course, one of the mainstays in the 360 sprints. Meanwhile, battle for the lead now as Franek starting to reel in the 21 of Aiken with time running out in this one. He'll push to the outside this time of him, off at turn number 2 as they race down the back straightaway with slower traffic right in front of your leaders. Meanwhile, as they come down the front straightaway, Robbie Stillwagon going to make this a 3-car battle for the race lead, as Kurt Michael coming into play as well behind them, as now Franek working to the top side, trying to get something, and that time he does in slower traffic, as now Franek could be your new race leader. Kurt Michael would duck underneath Stillwagon for position and go to work on the 21 of Aiken, but it's all behind Davey Franek as the New Jersey native picks up the win in the URC Sprints. So Davey Franek grabbing the win. Ed Aiken would finish in second. Kurt Michael with a great run to come home in third. Robbie Stillwagon fourth, and Randy West would round out the top 5. Other winners on the night, Jesse Lively would grab the win in the Sportsman, and the Rookie Sportsman would go to Cody Hunt. Back to Lebanon Valley we go for the 20-lap Pro Stock feature event, and it would be a doozy as Ricky Duzlak would be on the front of this one with John Ruthier giving chase right away from the drop of the green as he would push to the inside. Rob Yetman going to make his presence known in the number 7 machine right behind him as well as they come around and click off lap number 1 with Duzlak as your leader. Jay Corbin in the Pickle Express number 8 machine going to make his way down the back straightaway. Don't ask about the pickle joke. As they move in through turn number 1 and 2 this time, it would be the 8 of Corbin trying to make a bid on the 7 of Yetman, and he would take the spot away down the back straightaway and move into third. Meanwhile, Victor Hopkins on the move in the 243 machine as he tried to make something happen here as we're just ahead of the halfway point of this one. As now Yetman works to the inside of Corbin as they go side by side off the corner, all while trying to run down Ricky Duzlak in a tight 4-car battle here for the race lead. Meanwhile, down the back straightaway, here's Yetman and Corbin going side by side once again as the top 2 continue to run single file. Now this run was going to be interesting. You'd see Yetman slide into the number 3 spot. A bobble up at turn number 2 by Duzlak stops the momentum of the 315 of Ruthier, and Yetman shoots out like a cannon down the back straightaway and looks to take the lead away, and he does. So all of a sudden, Rob Yetman from 4th to the lead in a half a track, as now the 8 of Corbin going to go side by side with Ruthier for the number 3 spot down the back straightaway. The battle will continue to ensue along with Ricky Duzlak as the 8 and the 315 make contact off at turn number 4. That moves Corbin into the number 3 spot as they look to take control. Stephen LaRochelle trying to get by Ruthier for spot number 4, but couldn't do it that time as Yetman checked out way out in front as he would pick up the Pro Stock opener at the Valley of Speed. Yetman does it again on opening night as he's done multiple times here at the Lebanon Valley Speedway. Ricky Duzlak would finish in second, Jay Corbin third, John Ruthier fourth, and Paul LaRochelle would round out the top 5. Other winners on the night in Pure Stock number 1, it would be Al Relier. Kevin Paul will grab the win in Pure Stock number 2. Pure Stock number 3 would go to Jason Meltz. 4-cylinder single cam to Brandon Ely, and the dual cam would go to Kenny Stager. When Race Pro Weekly returns, Fast Eddie catches up with 2 drivers making a comeback to start 2016, and we'll give out this week's NISCA Performer of the Week award coming up next.
Out here, seconds mean everything. That's why, in here, we work so hard to shave them. When a second matters, science matters. energy lives here.
Where is it that going green is going strong? Where trees are planted so emissions can be cut down. Where clean ethanol blend fuels race cars and waste oil never goes to waste. Where is it that the sun comes up and we put it to work, and the passionate fans are just as passionate about helping out? Where? Nowhere but NASCAR. Learn what small steps you can take to make a big difference at NASCAR.com/green.
If you are a tracker series that would like to be highlighted on Race Pro Weekly, email us at show@raceproweekly.com. Welcome back to Race Pro Weekly. It is no secret that it's been a tough offseason for both Rocky Warner and Harry Schaefer as they battled health issues. Our own Fast Eddie caught up with both of them as they made their way back to Fonda for the first time.
Rocky, we saw you at the car show a few weeks ago, and it didn't look promising that you'd be able to get on the track anytime soon. You're here tonight. What changed?
Well, I had to listen to the doctor. The doctor said not to do nothing until I went back and seen him, which was about 7, almost 8 weeks after my surgery. And when I went to see him, he said, you can start doing more exercise, doing more, walking, jogging if you wanted to, or whatever you can do as long as you feel comfortable. And I wasn't having any pain, so I kind of did. I went out and, pushed the limits of my body, and it seemed the more I pushed my body, the better it felt. I never had any pain after doing walking or anything. I never, really had a shortness of breath ever, so I just kind of took advantage of it, and I got closer to race season, and I started going to the race car shop and lifting the stuff up and moving around, trying to tighten stuff up, and I just feel real good. I feel real well. I'm not tired out after the races. I raced a few times already, and I feel great. And I'm still a little weak on my right side. My right arm and my right chest muscles are almost gone, but we're working on it, trying to build it back up.
Harry, at the end of 2015, we found you upside down here on the front stretch of Fonda Speedway. You got busted up pretty good, but you're back here tonight. Tell us how you're doing and how you're healing.
Well, we had to have an operation on my shoulder. I got a plate in there with like 7 or 8 screws, and the therapy went good, and it seems okay. I'm a little nervous out there the first night out, but it feels okay. Getting out of the car hurts a little bit, but otherwise, everything seems okay.
Was there ever any question about maybe not getting back in the car after that wreck?
No, not really. It's not the first time I got hurt racing, so it's like you just gotta suck it up and get back out there. I'm getting kind of old though, it just takes a little longer to heal.
It's now time for this week's NISCA Performer of the Week award, and with his win from deep in the field at Merrittville, it goes to Mike Bowman. Bowman is now eligible for the New York State Stock Car Association Performer of the Year award given out at their banquet in January. That's all for this week's show. For the latest news, results, and photos, check out Race Pro Weekly online at www.raceproweekly.com, and be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. So for myself, Bobby Chalmers, Fast Eddie, Scott Morlock, Amber Chalmers, and everyone that helps put Race Pro Weekly together, thank you for watching this week's episode, and we'll see you next time.